Alright, video number 2. I have no idea what I'm doing, so I'm just kind of improvising, but I do know now that I'm not going to title every video based on the number. I guess video number 2 in the series on I don't even know what to call this, because for an introduction, I'm trying to get a better understanding of my own behavior, why I do what I do. I've been investigating this stuff for a few years and been unable to come up with any solid conclusions. So, making this series of videos, just putting it out there to see what other people think, other things, other ideas or theories I should check out, other explanations I can investigate. But yeah, the main sense is I'm trying to understand myself better, and I am just looking for additional explanations of information. Here comes the dog. This was the dog. Different explanations as to why I do what I do. So, the first video was on introspection or self-reflection, essentially talking about the pattern I've noticed is with my own self-reflective thinking, trying to figure out why I do it or what's the cause, mentioning different explanations I've come across and their various shortcomings, and also whatever the opposite of shortcomings is. So this video, can you stop that please? It's very noisy. Stop. Goose, hey, buddy. Stop it. I'm trying to film a video. Just snorting around like a pig. Maybe I'll start this one over. Stop. He stopped. Okay. So the second behavior I'd like to dive into, I guess, is this questioning, I guess is the best way to call it. Questioning of everything, questioning of myself, other people, not from a standpoint of oh man, can I do this? Or not from a self-esteem point. It's not from a place of I don't know if I can do this, or can I do that, or am I good enough? It's not like that. It's just how do you, a couple of the questions that'll come up a lot, or how do you know that? What do you mean by that? And also, is it that? So those are kind of the big ones that come up. Yeah. So how it'll work is essentially I'll be thinking or trying to do something, and I'll be wait a minute. How do I know that's true? How do I know that's true? How do I know that's a good question to ask? How do I know that I should even be doing this right now? How do I know I should be doing anything right now? How do I know that I know anything? How does anybody know anything? That's the how do you know version. What do you mean is kind of a little bit more simple. It's just I'll say something how do you know? What do you mean, how do you know? That's kind of how that one will work. But so it's this kind of intense uncertainty or questioning about things. Dog is left. And I'm not sure where it comes from, which is why I'm making this video. I'm trying to understand it a bit better. Done a lot of research, typology-wise. Thing is, with neuroscience, I've looked into the neuroscience of it as well. I guess it's not very clinical or practical. It's just hey, we found this region that's associated with this behavior. You're welcome. That's about how it works. A lot of the time, as far as I can tell. Not to bash neuroscience, definitely valuable, but not really the answer. Not really having the answers that I'm looking for. And I guess the answers might not be out there, but I guess the point is also just to kind of see if I can start collaborating with other people who have these types of questions, or these types of, I don't know if I call it a challenge or just personality traits, whatever you want to call it, behavioral patterns. And just trying to understand it better, I guess. Because for me, it's a lot of, like I said, just questioning, and I guess I've described it in the past as certainty and doubt. It's just questioning, because it's not necessarily bad. Like, if I'll have a thought, I could have a thought like, oh, I can't do that. And I'll also be like, how do you know you can't do that? You know? So it's not necessarily always having a bad result. Um, so that's kind of the pattern that I noticed. I have noticed. In terms of explanations, you can go to Personality Junkie again, just like I did in the last video. A Personality Junkie would describe it as, hey, that's perceivers. You know, they have trouble arriving at certainty. Some of them want certainty, some of them don't, or closure, I guess is a better way to say. Some of them want closure, some of them don't, or don't care for it, or don't worry themselves about it. But that's perceivers for you. Capital P. This is not socionics perceivers, but MBTI perceivers. And so, I think I know what I'll do. Yeah. I'm just talking to myself about what I'm going to do after this video. In terms of making a video on an explanation as to how all these different patterns fit together in different theories. That's an aside. Yeah. So that's Personality Junkie. They'd say, hey, that's how perceivers work. They're just kind of uncertain. And that works pretty well. I'm trying to think. I haven't really come across. I should also mention cognitive typology. I mean, they're calling perceivers revisers, but it's the same type of thing where it's like you're generally less certain about your beliefs or your paradigms that you hold in your head, in your mind, I suppose. So they also explain it that way too. I should have written these down because now I'm trying to come up with them on the spot. I'll definitely do this. No, I'm not even gonna. Last video I said, oh, I'll make a third video. I know what it's gonna be, but now I'm like, I'm not gonna do that because it's not. I have absolutely no information on like. I have one piece of information. I'll make it. I guess that's kind of the questioning thing, right? Because I was just like, I'm not going to do that. And no, before I was like, I'm definitely going to do this. I'm like, I'm not going to do this. I am going to do this. It's like the vacillation, the constant uncertainty. So that's what I'm trying. That's another thing I'm trying to understand in addition to the self-reflection. I don't want to, and I guess I want to clarify. I say self-reflection, not introspection, because I think introspection can be interpreted as people thinking internally about anything, not necessarily about themselves. So that's a bit of a distinction there. But there's less explanations in the typology sphere with respect to why people, or what the cause or what the mechanism behind questioning or doubt or uncertainty is. I'm trying to think of other examples. I can't really think of any other ones. Doesn't necessarily mean that there aren't any. It just I'm not thinking of them because I didn't write anything down before this. And that, again, is another example of the question, because I was like, hey, just because I think this doesn't necessarily mean it's true. But yeah, it can get pretty intense. It can get pretty intense with the questioning and the doubting, because, you can reach a place where you're really not sure about anything. Or not sure about anything, but you don't know if you're sure about anything, or you're not sure, you can't say how sure you are about anything, stuff like that. And this has been, I should have mentioned this in the last video, but I guess the introspection or the self-reflection has been going on for a few years. I would say at this point the uncertainty has been going on kind of like at least on a lower level for like a decade, because it really started when I started questioning religion, my religion, or I guess it was my religion specifically and not religion in general. But it was just kind of this idea that I had just started having. It wasn't even like an articulated thought. It was just like the idea that nothing was certain, nothing is absolute. So therefore, how can I know for sure? How can I be expected to know for sure? How can anyone know for sure that there's a heaven or a afterlife or whatever? That kind of started my whole deconstruction of religion. My religion, I suppose. But that was pretty intense, and I'm not sure what happened after that in terms of like, because I can't really think of any other examples of me going like, wait, this is of, oh, I guess I can, but it doesn't really happen again. That was like middle school, and then that, all of middle school went by, all of high school went by without much incident, and then I hit freshman year of college. All of a sudden, I deconstructed and deassembled like everything I thought or everything I believed, and then and even then I was pretty fine. Like, stuff happened, I guess, but it wasn't really a consequence of that. But yeah, it hasn't really been much of a struggle until now, or much creating problems until now, because it's hard to act if you don't know what you even know. So, yeah. Yeah, like, I guess I'm like functioning fine, healthy, all that. Um, but it does create some challenges, I suppose, at times. But yeah, I don't think I have much more to say. This is going to be much shorter, I think. Last one was about 20 minutes. This one I doubt is even at 20. Yes, it's at 11. Close to 12. Um, Trying to think of other stuff to say. I don't have as much to say about this. I already did a bit of an introduction. I should have probably broken up the first video into an introduction and then the main part about the introspection. But I'm not planning this. I don't know if I'm doing this sloppily. I don't know what sloppy is. I'm just trying to get a result. So, yeah, just trying to get the information. And I guess, like I said, if this doesn't, not like I said, but I guess if this doesn't work, I can modify my own presentation. I can modify the content, whatever. But yeah, it's just to get a conversation going. It's not like really about entertainment, I guess. It's just about having, like, I'm not taking it super seriously, but I'm just trying to get some information. So that's the purpose of these videos, is selfishly just for me to try to understand stuff better. And maybe it'll help, other people understand stuff better if I can get a discussion going. But I guess that's the main motivation for me, is just trying to understand myself. Yep. So I guess that's it for this one. Thanks for watching.